Okay, then you have the receptive earth. What is it? The building up to the greatest darkness. It's you have what you. There's not a question of getting any more. If we're getting more things in by the time you get into Sagittarius at the end of the fall, you're really receptive and trying to adjust and trying to plan for what you need and how to make it last. The planning actually comes in Capricorn, but really this is just adjusting it and finding every little thing, fixing every little thing you can. Or seeing what everybody's got or what everyone's doing and like that. So this is the I Ching politics of the zodiac, or of the cycle of the heavens. So again, we went through it. It's the same thing. The first line: daylight increasing, darkness increasing, solid and broken. You can see it in the yin and the yang. The daylight increasing to its thickest, and then it starts decreasing, and the light's increasing. And at the halfway points, you start to see it starts getting greater. This is the breathing in and out. Out, taking in. Then you have the four seasons of the four grandparents. You have two parents. You have the four grandparents of the four seasons. And you see how they fit to the light and the dark. Again, our whole studying of the zodiac has been tied into this. Okay, and so daylight increasing, darkness is greater, daylight increasing, daylight is greater, darkness is increasing, daylight is greater, darkness is increasing, darkness is greater, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall. And this is a symbol of how it would look like. You might see this often in China without the zodiac or anything else attached to it, but it's talking about the same thing. Yeah, so now we're good. Okay, so the interesting thing that we have the 8 trigons that we explained them as they've been taught over thousands and thousands of years. But there's other associations that these have been used for. These have blossomed into other teachings. So in the zodiac, well, we talked a bit earlier about, we had the symbol of Hercules, the soul traveling through each sign of the zodiac or each constellation to get the lessons of life. So we have the soul or the sun traveling through the signs of the zodiac, and we have the 12 labors or 12 paths going through the zodiac. Well, it used to be 8, and when there was 8, you had the 8-fold path of the Buddha. The Buddha, there was 8 paths, but it would be like the Buddha would be the sun, and the 8 paths would be the 8 divisions of the year. The 4 seasons each divided in half, the 8 seasons of the year. So we start, like what seems really simple, jumps to very profound associations and wisdom that has evolved out of the study of these lines, out of the study of light and dark, out of the study of DNA, of the study of the whole DNA genetic code is based on the same thing, 4 letters, 8 or 16 words, 32 sentences, 64 sentences or paragraphs, and then they build up their DNA structures. It's all based on the I Ching. Binary numbers based on the I Ching. So as we go through these, I'm just going to run through them each again. You have the dark above, the receptive between, the firm below, the hexagram, the trigram. But just as the first sun, the Saka thunder, is in Capricorn Aquarius, it's a time when people are very cautious and reserved and not talking. They don't talk very much, just do things, but they won't talk about it that much first. And there's a reflecting on it. There's a reflecting on their strategies and planning to act on it, but not talking about them that much. So the 8-fold path for this is right speech. The arousing shock thunder. Words come up and can shock people. Something said stupidly, something said suddenly, something said sarcastically, comes up and shocks people. So on the 8-fold path, this is a challenge of right speech. For right speech, one must abstain from telling lies. This is a spiritual teachings. One must also abstain from backbiting or slander and talk that might bring about hatred or enmity, or disunity among individuals or group of people. One must avoid language that's harsh, rude, malicious, or abusive. One must not indulge in idle, useless, foolish babble and gossip. So it gives an idea, say, hey, some restraint here. Right speech, usually little speech, almost no speech, especially if anything said will come out and set demons in motion. In music in China in the old days, they considered, like, if a bad note was played, that was releasing a demon dragon. And if a musician played a wrong note, they lost their life. Their head was cut off, they were killed because they released a dangerous force into the world. From the start of that sound, it's going to spread to other things. Okay, so this is the first Capricorn, first half Aquarius. It's the Saturn rulership. Right speech. Be cautious. Control your tongue. So it's interesting how the Eightfold Path of the Buddha and the 12 signs of the Zodiac are interwoven with each other. And these are set there in the heavens so they'll survive politics and countries change. They're set there so we can tune into them from their chart. And other people in other ages and other times will be able to do so too. So here's the second daughter, the clinging fire, the lightning, the fire. The light half of winter, everything's getting clear and light. This is a symbol of right action. One is advised to maintain peaceful and honorable conduct. Do not destroy life. Do not steal. Avoid all dishonest dealings. One should avoid improper sexual intercourse. These are the Buddhist teachings, like just for the path that one should try to help others and to maintain these same standards. Well, this is Pisces. The Aquarius is Pisces. You're trying to conjure. It's a Jupiter thing. You're trying to help others. You're trying to be peaceful. You're trying to be moral. You don't want to be guilt-ridden or guilty or blamed. So it's the challenge for Aquarius. Last half of Aquarius and Pisces is right action, not wrong action. So easy to be pulled into what everyone else is doing. So the spiritual teachings are saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And then you're left with the thought, well, what's right action? And that's where the teachings start coming in more. Now we go into the springtime. There's daylight increasing, daylight is greater, daylight increasing. And then you have the dark side of spring. This is the third daughter, or the joyous lake. This is right livelihood. One should not work at a profession that brings harm to others. You're talking about Aries in the beginning of Taurus. One should not work at a profession that brings harm. You don't hurt. You don't use the Mars to hurt others. You don't bring harm to others, such as arms trade, intoxicating drinks, poisons, killing animals, cheating, etc. One should live by a profession that is honorable, blameless, and innocent of harm to others. Right conduct. So someone can be strong, but you can be strong and innocent and not hurt people. That's very noble. So right livelihood is the challenge here. It's the first half of Aries. Aries is the first half of Taurus, so it's Mars rulership. And they're saying calm down the Mars, direct the Mars properly. With the previous one was the clarity was in Pisces, the clinging fire. And that was use the Jupiter and understand and trust your and get a good understanding, not a guilty understanding. So that was we had right speech, caught the Saturn, restraint, listen. We had right action, clinging fire, the Jupiter rulership. And here you have the Mars rulership in springtime, bringing up the need to watch what you're doing. Can you tell an Aries to watch what they're doing? Eventually they learn in time. Then you get to the father, the greatest brightness, the bright half of springtime. Everything's getting bright. It's getting brighter. We're being active, being more active in our own thing more and more. This is right thought. On this path, one is encouraged to promote thoughts of selfish renunciation and detachment. One is advised to strive for the thoughts of love and thoughts of nonviolence. These loving thoughts need to be extended to all beings. This is the Mercury rulership, and it's Gemini, Taurus, and it's too easy to think independently. I want to do this, I want to do this, and to get the thoughts and the actions just geared to selfish things. So it's a real work to control the mind to be able to think properly and clearly and not be tempted to have the mind look at all these other options. This is the path of right thinking. Now, if you're thinking about it in today, just think today. How many of you have had more light, clear, positive thoughts or more doubts, worries, and negative thoughts just today? Just in the last hour even. Where is the balance? Well, actions will follow thoughts. So if the balance isn't on the light, even over stupid little things, there's going to be repercussions that come from that. But Gemini is the independent sign, and they think what they think is true, and everyone else is stupid because they're not thinking like them. And they tend, not all Geminis, Donald Trump kind of Geminis, different types of Geminis, it really strongly so sure of their own ideas, but they're not good in politics because they're not really thinking of the thoughts of others. They're thinking what they can get away with. And it has a strength and a vulnerability within it. But only the Gemini can that only the right thought in this area, it takes time to mature to be able to see that as necessary. Part of the evolution of experience, I guess. So we have the gentle windwood, the first daughter, the gentle penetrating windwood, the penetrating of gentleness. How can you fight somebody being gentle with you? Can't hit them, can't yell at them. Like, it's a strong power. So this is the Eightfold Path of right concentration. So it's easy to get sensitive and gentle and penetrated, all sorts of things, but it's hard to stay focused because there's so many things that sensitivity can be going towards. So this is also the 4 stages of trance. Now it's interesting, this is Cancer, and the first half of Leo, it's a moon rulership. So you're feeling the moods and the feelings of the moods of the moon, the 4 stages of trance. One discards passionate desires, unwholesome thoughts, such as lust, ill will, worry, restlessness, and doubt. This is moon stuff, the worry and the doubt. The rest of it. One suppresses intellectual activities. Tranquility and one-pointedness of mind are developed. Joy and happiness are retained. Joy disappears and happiness remains, along with mindful equanimity. All sensations like happiness, unhappiness, joy, and sorrow disappear. Only pure equanimity and awareness remains. So it's the right concentration is trying to get them not worry or think or get attached or feel about the little things. Try and stay centered and above it, and those become the river running by, or the wind blowing by. So we get into the second sign of the abysmal danger. We have the dark half of the summer, and this is right mindfulness. So some of these seem to overlap a little bit, but really in Buddhism, there's a lot of work to control the mind and the various aspects of the mind to get to a stillness, to get to nirvana, or to get to that peace. The Eightfold is right mindfulness or right attentiveness. One needs to be diligently aware, mindful, and attentive with regards to activities of the body, focus on breathing and exercise, sensations and feelings, activities of the mind, and ideas, thoughts, and conception of things. This is Leo and all of Virgo. It's a Mercury rulership. The criticalness, the exercise, the health, the pickiness, the fighting, this is all part of the right mindfulness is the challenge. This is just really quick little notes pointing into each path. There's books, there's teachings, there's people living in these paths. They're big themes presented.